Hello everyone, Bridget Casey with Bridget Casey Designs here today for ScrapbookPal.com. Today we're going to be looking at two new products from Spellbinders, the Log Cabin and Flower Mini Quilts, and the Quilty Hugs Sentiments set. So there's a look at the dies and the stamps. Lots of great sentiments on there and little shapes you can add to the quilt blocks. And there are the two quilt blocks on the back as well as two sentiment dies. So I'm going to show you, we're going to use some rainbow assortment of cardstocks here, as well as new purple gradient cardstock from Altenew. I'll also use the gilded glitter cardstock from Altenew. But we're going to get started by pulling off the layering pieces of the quilt blocks. So these are where I'm going to cut out the pieces that I will inlay into the quilt blocks. And I'm working harder, not smarter in the beginning because I'm using my little tools like, oh, it fits in there. How exciting, blah, blah, blah. And then I realized, oh, you silly, silly gal. You could be doing two at once here. Come on, get with the program. So it's been a long day. So here we go. We're getting that done. And it just, like I said, it's just going to cut the pieces. If you want to cut the quilt block, I'm going to show you how to do that in just a second. But this is just cutting the pieces. And you can lay it on a front panel, which I'll show you as well here. There's a panel. I just cut it twice. And it creates that illusion. Now I'm cutting out the white piece to layer my block. I cut two. I didn't need two. I only needed one. Here's what I'm going to show you. If you lay the outer square and the block and you center the block in the square, it will cut out and give you the entire square that you can pick up and take off your paper and layer onto, like here. I'm layering this one block onto that separate piece there. Now I'm going to create a mini slimline with a 6x6 piece of cardstock scored at 3, and this will fit perfectly 3x6 panel. Putting some of my Barely Art Precision glue on the back, then I'll get that layered down. I'm pressing easy, then I turn it over, get some pressure, and I had a space that was still sticking up. Add a touch of glue, and then we begin the process. So in the beginning I put the glue on the back of the pieces. And I messed one up there that I will pick up in a second, and I was using a different jewel picker, which wasn't working great. So I'm lifting with my die pick tool the piece I get in crooked. I put it back in, and on we go. And then I started putting the glue in the spot that I was going to put the cardstock, as well as I have my super duper sticky jewel picker now. The jewel picker and the precision tip glue are priceless for this project. It goes by so super fast with those because you can get in those little spots and then you've got that sticky that picks up your piece and puts it right to position. I will tell you to be careful if you're doing this technique. I did have a couple pieces that I had my hand on and they slid because they've got glue on them and they're inset, but I only used one layer to inset, not two. So the paper is flat across it, so it can slide a little bit easier. So, but this was just so much fun. And as I was editing, I'm like, ooh, that would have been pretty to leave white. I think the only problem with purchasing this set is you're going to want to make it with all the colors and all the things. It's going to turn obsessive and want to make so many quilt panels, but that's not a bad thing. You'll have lots of beautiful handmade cards with this one die set. It blows my mind how many different looks you can get with one die set, just changing up the colors, where you put colored cardstock, where you don't. And you could even put designs in there. There are some stamps in the Quilty Sentiments stamp that help you create additional interest in your blocks as well. Now we're going to move on to the rainbow one, which I'm super stoked about, of course, because I love rainbows, as you may know. So I've got my block. It's all cut out, ready to go. And I'm just going to start putting the glue and start choosing my colors. And I will tell you, I had a plan. I was going to do the Roy G. Biv as it goes, the red, orange, yellow, green, blue, violet. and it didn't work out that way. So I kind of got down here and I was like, now what? And then I'm like, it's a rainbow, it doesn't matter. So I just started putting in rainbow pieces throughout and just having a super fun time with it. Now, I made one quilt block with, all these pieces. So I had so many pieces that were left over. You could make so many different card panels. This would make an adorable card set because you only use, I used 3 of the orange on this one, so I have so many left. And I used 2 of the red, so I have even more of that, 2 of the yellow. I have so many more of that left. So keep that in mind. You can just use different ones, and you have so many pieces, just showing you there's so many pieces left. Now I'm going to take an A2 panel and run it through the organic linen 3D embossing folder from Altenew. I thought it gave like a quilted textured look, which kind of accompanied the stamp set well. I'm going to use some 3D foam squares, and I'll pop that panel up. And now we get to the sentiment. So I thought I was going to go one direction and ended up another. I know I'm going to use the Quilty Hugs, and I'm trying out the cardstock I want to use for that. Now here's a little trick. So if you use this die, you can cut a piece of white cardstock and you can get a bunch of sentiment strips. So originally I was going to use the My Friend with clear heat embossing, so I'm treating it with powder, and then I was going to stamp with the VersaFine Clair Nocturne ink, and then I was going to be all set. I have a cute little sentiment strip that's quilted and matches my project. So I left this in here even though I didn't use it because I thought it was a fun tip and a fun way to use this die in kind of an unexpected way a little bit. So I didn't do it, but definitely a possibility for you. I was going to put it on an angle and it felt wrong, so I put it straight and I just did Quilty Hugs on that one. I may add some little hearts in glitter paper after. And this one, I just liked the hugs. So that's it. Those are the 2 cards that we created today. Here's a little bit of a closer look at them. And just to show you how versatile these 2 quilt blocks are. Thank you so much for joining me. Don't forget to head on over to the ScrapbookPal.com YouTube channel and subscribe. We can't wait to see you soon.